friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate, this is Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and today I finally have my month in review for the month of June ready for you guys. I'm sorry for the delay on that. I am excited to tell you that I have one finish for the month of June, which is more than I sometimes have. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I think at the end I'm gonna go ahead and put on the monthly freak out tag that I was tagged in by Katie, Diamonds and Washi, and I think I was also tagged by Library of Diamonds. So I will go ahead and do that at the end, probably right before I talk about the books that I finished last month, because I know there are some people who are only here for the diamond painting. So we'll do all the diamond painting stuff and then we'll do the book stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, I have one finish for the month of June, and it is Big Sis. I started this on June 1st for the Ivy Dolomore DP Along that was hosted by Michaela Renee, Courtney over at Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, and Ashley at Messy Girl Crafts. And I started it, like I said, June 1st and finished it, no, sorry, I started it May 1st and finished it June 27th. So it took me just about 2 months because I'm a multi-whipper. So it took me almost 2 months to finish it. And that's about my norm for a canvas that I'm focusing on. So yeah, really enjoyed working on this one. I had a lot of fun with all of the colors. It's very vibrant and I love the subject and the artwork is gorgeous. Had a lot of fun with it. It is 55.8 by 70.7 centimeters and it's a square kit. So yeah, that's Big Sis. And as for my whips, I have the Way of Kings. This is by Dragon Steel, Brandon Sanderson's company, and it is artwork of my favorite book series, the Stormlight Archive, and I started this on February 18th. It is a 86 by 45 centimeter kit and definitely computer rendered. The colors are a little bit interesting, the color choices in some areas, and the drills are acrylic. So the quality isn't what I am used to or hoped for, but I'm still enjoying it because I love the artwork behind it, and I'm just glad to be able to have a kit to do from them. So I'm just working on it slowly. I have a, if you're new to my channel, I have a spinny wheel app that I spin to tell me what section to work on next on which kit, and I have this one weighted like lighter in my app so that it won't come up as often, because I think if I were to do section after section on this one, it would really burn me out because it's so confetti heavy and so trash heavy and stuff like that. But I'm still really enjoying when I do roll it. It's the only round I'm working on right now, so it's nice to have a round in the mix. So yeah, that's the Way of Kings. Next whip is Friends of the Rainbow. This is by Disney and Diamond Art Club, and guys, this is so fun. I started this one for Pride Month and I started it on June 2nd. It is 69 by 60 centimeters and it's got a ton of color blocking, and I am okay with that. It goes really fast. But however, I was focusing, like I weighted Big Sis heavier on my spinny wheel so that I could finish it faster. So that's why that one got finished in the month of June, and the Friends of the Rainbow one, I only got 2 rows done on that one because it wasn't weighted as high. But yeah, it's so much fun. The rainbow behind the characters with the sparkles and everything, that is all iridescent drills, crystals, and I have a new favorite drill, you guys. The purple crystal in this kit is so gorgeous. It like reflects different blues and it's so shiny. I love it so much. So yeah, really enjoying this kit. I'm excited to focus on it a bit more now that Big Sis is finished and I haven't kitted up anything new yet. So those are my 2 big whips. And then the other whip that I have going that will still be going throughout the year is my Months of the Year Mini Dazzle set. So I did finish the June Mini Dazzle for the month, and it turned out really pretty. It's the camping one with the tent and the trees. And then I'm excited to do this next month because it is like a boat on an ocean with a lighthouse, and it's really pretty. So yeah, I'm excited to do July's, but I haven't done that yet. So that is another WIP I'm carrying over, and that is it for my diamond painting works in progress. Okay, now for the MidYear Freak Out tag that Katie from Diamonds and Washi came up with based on the BookTube MidYear Freak Out tag. So I have heard a few people do this tag, but I haven't really sat down and thought about what my answers would be. And that's something I usually do before I do a tag, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, number 1, favorite kit completed so far in 2025. At least that one's an easy one. It's definitely Artsy Girl by Mrs. Butter D. I had so much fun working on that kit, and I still have it hanging up on my wall. I used to keep a space in my office for hanging my most recently completed kit. Like every time I'd finish one, I'd put it there. But I think it's just gonna have Artsy Girl there for like the foreseeable future, because I finished Big Sis and I didn't hang it up because I didn't want to take Artsy Girl down. So I either need to find a more permanent place for Artsy Girl or figure out something else to display my most recently finished kit, I guess. So yeah, that's that. Number 2, favorite new release, kit or accessories so far in 2025. Ooh, what would be my absolute favorite release? That's a tough one. I don't know. I might have to go for the new Star Wars trilogy kits that just were released with Diamond Art Club, because they are so cool. And I have been waiting for those to be released for such a long time, and I definitely picked up all 3 and I'm really excited to get to them. I am not like one of those huge Star Wars fans, but I do love the franchise and I love these artworks, and I'm actually gonna hang these in my house, I think, because I don't think my husband will disagree with me that we should hang these ones up. So yes, really excited for those. Those are probably my answer. Number 3, biggest disappointment. I gotta say it's my Way of Kings kit, unfortunately. And it's mostly because of the rendering of the characters in this one. Like, I could deal with the trash, I could deal with the confetti, but like the faces, if you can't even really tell what they are, and that's really unfortunate. I wish that it was a bit larger, and I wish it was rendered better. Since this is like the only way to get that artwork as a diamond painting, I'm sad it's not a little bit better quality. Okay, number 4, what was your biggest surprise? I think my biggest surprise actually goes back to working on Big Sis, where there were huge sections of that kit that were just covered in ABs, and I was a little bit nervous because I know ABs can be a bit of a pain to work on, but for some reason, I don't know if there was magic in the air or what, I could just place them like regular drills when I was working on this kit. I had 0 issues with them like pulling the putty out of my pen or anything. They just went down as if they were a regular drill, and that was an amazing surprise. I loved it a bunch. So yeah, that is probably my answer for that one. It made that kit like much more enjoyable than I expected. All right, number 5, favorite new to you shop, kit or accessories. I haven't been purchasing a whole lot this year other than paintings, and I mostly just purchase from Diamond Art Club for my paintings, so I haven't tried any new diamond painting companies this year, but I did get sent recently a gift. Let me get it. From my friend Courtney, Diamonds Are a Girl's best friend. She sent me this Yellow Dog Designs tray, and because she saw that I was working on Artsy Girl, and this is an Artsy Girl tray, and it's so cool. I love the artwork on the front, and it's got a cool lid that is pretty secure when it's on, and then it has a nice little stopper inside, and it has the washi tape hack built into it, and it's a smaller tray than I am used to using, but I have been using this anytime I'm working on like my Way of Kings kit or anything that has a lot of confetti. I like working with this because I can't you know, I'm not going to be color blocking large swaths of color anyway. So it's really nice to just use this tray for like when I'm only going to be having a little bit of drills in my tray to work with. And it's a really nice quality tray, and I've really been enjoying it. So yeah, I would say that's probably my favorite new to me shop experience. New or current favorite artist? Well, my favorite artist has been my favorite artist for quite a while, so that's Mrs. Butter D. But my new favorite artist is probably tied between two, and I don't know that it's new specifically this year, because both of these artists joined with Diamond Art Club and had things released, I think, right before the end of last year. But my newest two favorite artists are Art by Julia, who does all the fun duck paintings, and Marigona Suli, who did Cozy Christmas Witch that I finished earlier this year, and just released a Witchy Greenhouse, which is gorgeous. I got that one too. And I think Dragons and Books might be the name of the other one that's released, and I missed out on that one and I'm so sad. But no, I love Marigona Suli's artwork too. So those are my newest favorite artists. Okay, number 7. New or current favorite genre or theme? So I think I probably up till now would have said that my favorite is like portraits of especially females, but males too. But I think I've refined that a little bit since then, and I would now say that my favorite is scenes, like almost like item paintings where there's a little thing to do in each section, but more specifically a scene that, especially if it has like a character doing something in the scene, and then it's got a lot of different areas to diamond paint, especially interiors. I just love that kind of artwork. So that would be my favorite. Scenes. Sorry for that loud car. So yeah, scene artwork is my favorite. Number 8. Kit or diamond painting experience that made you happy? Well, we already talked about Artsy Girl, but maybe those iridescent drills in my Friends of the Rainbow diamond painting. Those have been making me super, super happy when I work on that kit, and I love being able to just sit down and do an easy color blocked section, and all the drills have been so uniform on that kit, and it's so nice to go back to after I'm done working on a Way of Kings section to go back and have like hardly any trash to work with and everything just lines up, and it's so nice. So yeah, that's made me happy. Kit or diamond painting experience that made you cry? I guess I've missed out on purchasing a few diamond paintings. Like I wasn't quite in time to grab them, and I wouldn't say I cried about it, but I was pretty sad. Like that dragon bookshelf one from Marigona Suli that I was talking about. I was sad to miss that one. So maybe that, or just that I can't afford to buy every single painting I would like to have, which wah wah, I know, not that I have room to complain. So yeah, that's the closest I can come. I can't really think of anything else. All right, the 10th and final one. Most anticipated kit for the second half of 2025. Oh, that's tough. I guess I'll answer this in a couple parts. So I have a kit that is technically kitted up and I've worked on it, but I'm only working on it at Christmas time. So as soon as Christmas time is over, I've put it away, and then I won't start it up again until the Christmas season is back. And that's Cabin by the McNeil Studio. And I'm really, really enjoying working on that kit. It was a rainy day kit for me, and so that's why I'm not in a hurry to finish it. And I am so excited to get back to it once the Christmas season rolls back around. So that one, and then whichever kits I decide to work on for Drills and Chills. I kid you not, I look forward to Drills and Chills all year. And then it gets here, and I always think I can do more kits than I can do. So I'm looking forward to whichever ones I decide to work on this year. I have a bunch of Halloween themed diamond painting kits that I am so excited to get to, and I'm sure there will be more coming out that I definitely will want to have and work on. So I always get excited when it's spooky time and time to work on those kits. I just haven't decided which kits those are going to be yet for the year. So that'll be a surprise for all of us. There's a bonus for overall goals check-in for 2025, but I don't really set goals for diamond painting. I typically just kind of follow my nose. I do love to participate in events when they line up with like a kit I want to work on, but I don't really like sit down and write out, okay, I want to do this many diamond paintings or anything like that. I know that my time is limited when it comes to my hobbies. I wish I had more, but I don't. And so I don't want to stress myself out by putting goals onto my hobby. So yeah, that is my mid-year freak out tag. I don't know who else there is that hasn't done this already, because as usual, I'm late getting to it. But if you're watching this and you have a channel and you would like to do this tag, consider yourself tagged. If you're watching this and you don't have a channel but you want to answer the questions, I will put them in the description box, and please feel free to answer them in the comments. That would be great. I love reading your comments. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and move on from my diamond painting section of this video and move into the books that I read last month. So if you enjoy book content, stick around for that. And if not, if you were just here for the diamond painting, then thank you so much for being here, and I will catch you in the next video. Okay, if you're still here, we're going to talk about books now. I read a total of 9 books for the month of June, which is not as many as last month. In May, I read 15. That was a bit crazy. But yes, in June, I read 9. Some of those were pretty small. So let's see. We started with This Is How You Lose the Time War. This is a book that I had wrapped up at Christmas time and given to my 2 eldest kids because we're doing a fun activity this year as part of my gift to them for Christmas, where I wrapped up 4 books and we are reading them. Sorry, that was my dog. We're reading them together. So as soon as we finish one, we get on FaceTime, we unwrap the next one, and then we kind of read it in increments. Like we cut it into sections, and then we each catch up to that first section before we'll move on to section 2, etc. For this one, however, it was very short. The audiobook was only 4 hours. So since I listen on ×2 speed, it was really only a 2-hour audiobook for me. Since it was so short, we decided not to cut it into sections and just read it straight through. So I read that one in one night, and I think I gave it 4 stars. I really liked that one. It's kind of the reason that I originally purchased it and thought we would like it, especially me, is because it has a lot to do with time travel, and I love books that have time travel stuff in them. However, I would say this book is more focused on the character relationships than it is on the time travel. The time travel is just the vehicle used to talk about the relationships of the characters. And it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. It was beautifully written and I liked it a lot. However, I don't know if it's me reading into it too much. I thought maybe it seemed a little bit like it was trying too hard, but that could just be me. I still gave it 4 stars because it was beautifully written and I loved the relationships between the characters. I just wish it had been more about the details of the time travel. Okay, the next 3 books I finished after that are all 3 in the same series, and I read the first book in this series, I think the month before that, and that is the Starry, Holo Witches series by Annabelle Chase. And so the first one I read last time was Magic and Murder. So the next 2 are Magic and Mystery and Magic and Mischief. And then The third one in that series that came included in the omnibus I purchased on Audible was just a little short story called One Witch's Trash Panda is Another Witch's Treasure. But yeah, I surprisingly really loved these 3 books and the short story. It's kind of just a cozy mystery with supernatural elements and really likable characters and just kind of a fun time. So I'm really glad I purchased that on one of Audible's sales, and I think there's like 19 books in that series, so I might eventually go back and read some more of it. But yeah, really liked those first 4 forays into it. So that's the first 4 books of the month. Next, I read Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. I have read one other Robin Hobb book before, and that was the first book in her other series, Realm of the Elderlings. This book, Ship of Magic, is the first book in her Live Ship Traders trilogy, I think. So it's the same author and I think the same world, but like different series that are kind of interconnected, but you can read them in any order within the series, obviously. So I liked this one. I had some trouble reading Assassin's Apprentice, which is the other book I read by Robin Hobb, just because it happens to hit on several times on one of my major triggers that I struggle with reading. This one didn't do that, so it was easier for me to get through, and I actually really enjoyed it a lot. It's all about kind of pirates and ship sailing, and got some interesting magic things going on, and yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I will probably continue this series. I think I gave that one a 4 stars. So far, everything I have read and talked about has been a 4-star for me, which is pretty good. I'm a little bit looser with my stars than some people. I give a 5-star if it's something that made me feel just incredibly happy, and like I am so happy I read it and there was nothing that I would really complain about. So that's a 5-star for me. A 4-star is, this was a really good book. I enjoyed it a lot. There are some ways it could have probably been more enjoyable, or it could have been improved in some ways, but I enjoyed it a lot. And then 3-star is just like, yeah, it's average. And so below that is starting to get into, I wish this was better. I don't give a lot of stars that are below 3 stars. So anyway, all that to say, so far everything I've talked about, I gave 4 stars to. Ship of Magic was also a 4-star. Really enjoyed it. There were some characters in it that absolutely drove me up the wall. Like I hated these characters, but I think that was intentional. And it's not like they were well, at least one of them wasn't intentionally a villain, just an insufferable character. So I'm hoping that character's arc improves over the rest of the series. But yeah, so that was Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. Next, I read All Systems Red by Martha Wells, and that is the first short story in the Murderbot Diaries. That was really fun. My husband and I right now are watching the show on Apple TV and really like the show. So, and my son has read the books, all the books, and so he really wanted me to read those, and it happened to be free in my Audible library for the month of June, so I listened to it, and I would say I gave it a 3-star, as in it was okay. I did like some of the characters better in the short story than I do the way they're portrayed in the show, but I think the show is more entertaining, to be honest. They did expand some things in the show, like the short story covers everything that the show has covered so far, and the show added some stuff in. And I think what they added was actually helpful to the story, which if you're going to do an adaptation and you're going to change stuff, it should be something that makes the story better. Wheel of Time could have learned from this. Murderbot Diaries is doing a great job on Apple TV, so I highly recommend that show. The book I also recommend, but it was just kind of okay. It was okay. So that was that one. I might read more in that series later on. It's not a super high priority for me. So we'll see. After that, I read Gideon the Ninth, which is one that's been on my radar for quite some time. It's by Tamsin Muir, M-U-I-R. I'm not sure how to say that. I struggled to get into this book because, well, it's mostly me. It's about necromancy. Necromancy is like the magic of the world. And I'm not super huge on necromancy. Like, stories about it tend to not be as interesting to me. Like, a lot of people love Sabriel by Garth Nix, and the magic there is also necromancy in a different way. And I struggled with that one too, just because it's not my favorite form of magic to read about. But this book was so entertaining, and like the humor in this book was fantastic. I loved the banter. I can't remember. Let me check what I gave this one star-wise. Yeah, I gave this one 4 stars as well, because towards the end of it I really did get into it and enjoyed it quite a bit, enough that I do want to read the second and third installments at some point. Probably not super high on my list either, but I do want to get to it. So I liked that one. I would recommend it, especially if you are not like me and don't have a bias against necromancy stories. But yeah, it was pretty good. It was kind of like a dark academia school kind of setting, except it's not a school really, but there's a mystery and you have to try to solve clues to figure out what's going on. So I love that aspect of it, and I love the characters and the dialogue between the characters and everything, especially the main characters. So yeah, that was Gideon the Ninth. Let's see. 8th, I read Howls Moving Castle. So this I noticed was free in the Audible library until the end of June, and I have never seen the movie and I've never read the book, and I realized that the movie was based on the book, but I've heard it's not super close to the book. But either way, I thought it would be fun, since the book was free to read the book and see what it was all about. And I loved it, you guys. It was so much fun. Lots of great personality and imagery in this book. It was very charming. I gave this one a 5-star. Really enjoyed Howl's Moving Castle. Now I want to see the movie. I know that it's pretty different, and I know that Christian Bale plays Howl, which is interesting. But yeah, so that is on my radar to watch at some point. I am definitely behind on watching Ghibli movies. I've only seen a couple of them, and I should watch the rest of them because they're pretty fun. But yeah, book, really good, highly recommend. And then the last one that I finished in the month of June was A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher. And it was my first T. Kingfisher book, and I loved that one too. It's cozy fantasy, but also like the stakes were higher than I expected them to be in this by reading the synopsis. So basically it's about a young wizard in this town who is a baker, and the way the magic works in this world is that each magic user gets one like skill. So this wizard can only work with dough. So whether that be sourdough or cookie dough or whatever, she can like make gingerbread cookies come alive and move and dance, and then she can take the magic back out of them and they'll go back to being inert cookies and stuff. So that was super fun. Some other magic users can use other things, like one can use water, for instance, stuff like that. So that was a really interesting concept, and I loved the storyline and how it was expanded on. And the themes of this book were deeper than I expected, especially with things that are going on in the world right now. I was surprised at how relevant it was, this cozy fantasy about wizards. A lot of it was about discrimination and minorities, and the way it can feel like things are stacked against you. So that was surprisingly deep for this book that I wasn't expecting it from. So this one got a 5-star from me as well. I absolutely loved it. I'm excited to read more T. Kingfisher. I do have one of her other books called Sword Heart in physical form that I bought at Barnes & Noble because it was pretty. So I'm excited to read more by her. She wrote, I think her most famous series is Nettle and Bone, and I haven't read that either, so I'm excited to read more work by her soon, definitely. I have 2 books that I was in the middle of reading when June turned into July, so those are my WIPs. One is Aurora Burning, which is the second book in the Aurora cycle by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and I read the first one, I think, last month in May, and so I started reading the second one, but it's a physical book, and I haven't gotten very far in it. Let's see. I think I'm only on page 72 out of almost 500. So I read a little bit this month, but I just haven't been in the mood to sit down and read a physical book. So that's why I haven't gotten very far in it. And then the other one that was in process when June became July was Crest, which is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. This is probably my favorite new series that I've started reading recently, other than maybe Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I also absolutely love. So those 2 series have really been top for me this year. Man, I just realized I didn't get to read any Dungeon Crawler Carl books in the month of June, so that's coming up. I'm gonna read the next one very soon. But anyway, Crest is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles. This one focuses on basically a retelling of Rapunzel. So the first one was a retelling of Cinderella, sort of. And the second one's a retelling of Red Riding Hood, and then the third one's Rapunzel, but they're all interconnected and woven together in a whole new story that takes place way in the future, and so it's only inspired by those folk tales, but the way it's done is really awesome, and you can see the like little nods to parts of those stories, but I love the way they all come together to tell a whole new story, and it's done really well, and the characters are great, and it's just 10 out of 10. Well, really 5 stars, but yeah. So anyway, loving that. I did already finish it, but I finished it in July, so it doesn't count for my finishes for June. But yes, that series is way up there with my favorites. I have the next one on hold in my Libby app, but it says it's going to be quite a few weeks until I am able to get it. So we'll see. If I wasn't spending all my Audible credits on Dungeon Crawler Carl books, I'd probably just buy the next one. And also I could read them physically because I have the whole set as physical books, but I haven't had the desire to sit down and read physical books, and so I don't know, I just don't want to read it that way. But yeah, so that was all of my reading for the month of June, and before that, all of my diamond painting stuff for the month of June and for my mid-year freak out tag. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will DAC you guys in the next one. Bye everybody.